Okay, fifth grade. So we're going to work through this set 14 Monday page, starting with number 1. You've got 3 decimal numbers, and they want you to compare them using the greater than, less than symbols. So the easiest thing for you to do is going to be to line the decimals up down here. So we're going to start copying the numbers down just in the order that they give them to you, and you're lining up the decimals as you copy them down. And remember, you fill in any empty spots with zeros so that you can compare them. Then you're going to go and compare the first two. You're comparing just these first two, so cover up that one. Between these two, which one is the greatest? Give it 2 cookies inside the symbol. Give the one that's the less 1 cookie and complete your symbol. Then you're going to cover up this top number, and you're going to compare the bottom two and put your cookies in this on this dinner plate right here. Okay, so you're doing that one on your own. Number 2, we need to look. It's a word problem with fractions. It says JC had 4 1/6 cups of flour. She used 1 1/4 cups in a cake. So 4 1/6 cups of flour, and she used some of it. Draw a picture, write an equation, and solve to find how many cups of flour are left now. So you could draw a picture of the 4 1/6 cups of flour. So you need to divide each of these into 6, and the easiest way to do that is to draw a Y in the center of each one of them. And then that makes them into thirds. Then you just cut each section in half, and that makes it 6ths. Okay? Then you're going to shade 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1/6 of another one. Okay, so this is 4 1/6, and then it says she used 1 1/4. So we're going to take away this 1 hole right here that she used, but then we need to take away 1/4 from this one, and there's only 1/6 here. So what we have to do is we have to get 1/6 and 1/4 to have matching denominators, because 6ths are not the same size pieces as 4ths. So here's where you use your multiplication chart. You want to look up 1/4 and see if you can change the 4 to be a 6, which you cannot. There are no 6 on row 4. So that means that you have to change both denominators. So looking on row 6 and on row 4, what do they both have in common? What number do they both have? Okay, they both have a 12. So we're going to make our denominators 12ths. And how many 12ths is 1/6? So you look up 1/6 and you slide until the 6 becomes a 12, and then you slide the 1 the exact same amount. That's going to be 2/12. So you just put the 2, cross this out. Now we need to do the same thing for 1/4. Slide until the 4 becomes a 12, slide the 1 the exact same amount. It's 3/12. Okay. So now, showing a model, how do I change these 6 to be 12ths? All you have to do is cut each piece in half one more time. Okay, now we need to take away 3/12ths, but we only have 2 right here. So we're going to take away all of those 12ths, and then we need to make 12ths out of this one. So we're cutting each piece in half one more time. And then we're going to take away 1 more 12th over here, which leaves me 11/12 left over, because I took away 2 over here and 1 more here. So that means there's 11 left, 11/12. I've already taken away my 1 whole. I've taken away my 3/12. Now I have how many? I have 2 wholes left over, and I have the 11/12 left in this one. So my answer is 2 wholes and 11/12. Okay. If you did this without the drawing, you would have to borrow from over here, and you would have to add 12 more 12ths, which is what we did right here. We added 12 more 12ths to our 2 12ths, and now we have 14 12ths altogether that we're taking 3 away from. And if you have 2 plus 12, that's 14, minus 3, that's 11. Okay, so that's how you could do it without the model, but they wanted you to draw a picture. All right, moving on to this one. This is prime and composites, yes. So you need to factor out the number 64. I started you off. Remember, we always start with 1 and 64. Then you're going to try 2. So you get your calculator out and you do 64 divided by 2. If it gives you a whole number answer, then you write that whole number here. You could keep going, but all you have to do is do enough of the chart to know whether it's prime or composite. So if you can divide 64 by 2 and you get a whole number answer, your number is composite. If the only way that you can make a 64 is 1 and 64, it's prime. So you're going to finish this and decide, can you make a 64 by multiplying other numbers together? Okay. All right. Moving on to number 4. We've got another volume problem, but this is not just volume. They also want you to do area of the bottom layer. They want you to do perimeter of the bottom layer. And then they want you to do volume of the entire cube. So let's go over our formulas again, and then you're going to solve them on your own. What shape is this bottom layer? Is it a square or is it a rectangle? The bottom layer is a rectangle. So your formula for area is length times width. So you're going to figure out what is your length in the bottom layer and what is your width in the bottom layer. And then you're going to do the math and tell me what the area is. Perimeter. Perimeter means you add all the sides together of the bottom layer. So that's length plus width plus length plus width. You've got a width right here. You've got a length right here. You've got another width right here, and you've got another length right here. So you need all 4 measurements, 2 lengths. Remember, they're the same. This side is the same as that side, so you just have to put the same number down twice. And the width here is the same as the width there, so you just need to put the same number down twice. Add them all together and tell me what your perimeter is. Now we're going to do volume. Okay, so the formula for volume I've already given you. It's length times width times height. Yes, remember our bat wings? So they've given you the height right here. So what is this length right here? That's your height. Here's your width, and then here's your length. Height, width, length. Put them into the formula and tell me what your equation is. That would be the length, whatever your length is, times whatever your width is, times whatever your height is, and then I want you to solve it. Problem number 5. We've got to tell what points are at these coordinates. Remember, 2.5 is the same thing as 2.5. So, starting at 0, our x-coordinate is 2.5. So we go 1, 2.5. Then we've got to go up to the y-coordinate, which is 1.5. So we go up 1.5. What point is right? Oh, no, that's wrong, isn't it? Because this one should be right here. Okay? It should be right there. So that's a typo. This one, if they want you to do point N, this should be just a 1. I'm guessing they want you to put point in there, but this was, see, I'm finding typos in this program quite a bit. So this really should be 2.5 and 1 so that you could put point in down here. So I've already helped you with the first typo. Let's make sure there's not any other typos in the rest of this. So 0.5, we're starting at 0 and we're going only half of 1. Then we're going up to 3.5. I believe that point is there, okay? So then 4 and then going up to 3.5, that point is there also. But notice how they use the same letter twice. So there's a typo right there. Yeah, there's a typo. So one of these needs to be S, and you can go ahead and change this one to a T. Let's make that one a T. Okay? All right. So you're doing these last two on your own. Number 6, plot the points, show in the table. Okay, so here's your X and here's your Y. So you're going to start at the X of 0, which is right here. We're not going to go over any for this first one because it's on the 0. Then you're going to go up to the 2.5. So 1, 2, and remember 0.5 is half. So you're going to put a point right there. We have to put it on the 0 for the X. So it's going to be right there on that line. So that one is done for you. You're going to plot the rest of these on your own, okay? This one, let's go ahead and do this one together. The X is 6. So you're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the Y is 0, which means we cannot go up at all. So we're going to put this point right there on the Y-axis. So I've plotted this point for you as well. All right, so you're going to plot the other 3 points on your own. Take a picture of it when you're done. If you are using, here's good information. If you are using the portfolio or the student account of ClassDojo, you can take a picture of this worksheet, a screenshot. Yes, take a screenshot of this worksheet that I post on the class story. So go to the class story, take a screenshot of the worksheet that's empty, post it into your portfolio or your student account, and then you can use, there's editing tools on there and you can draw on it. So it'll be easier for you to do these because you can actually draw on this grid and not have to make it yourself, okay? Some of you have been drawing this entire worksheet out by hand and you don't have to. Take a picture of, take a screenshot of this, post it into your portfolio, just like you've been posting all of your other work. Some of you have been posting your work in your student account this whole time. Post a picture of it, and then there's a little paintbrush symbol, and you just click on that paintbrush symbol, and it opens up all of these tools where you can do the work right on the worksheet, on the screen. You can just handwrite with your finger. You can even type in, and then you can click and drag your answer. So if you wanted to type in 0.509, then you can drag it and drop it right there on that line on the worksheet. So it's a lot easier than having to write all these out by hand. Okay, we'll see you on the next video.